In a city where power has a price, love can become the most dangerous secret of all.
This is a story of love,
Family,
betrayal,
and the shadows that refuse to disappear. Before the secrets, before the betrayal, before the darkness revealed its true face, there was only one unexpected meeting. A woman searching for answers, and a man born into a world she was never meant to see.
Imagine taking your daughter to school. And another little girl you've never met walks up to you, grabs your hand, and asks, "Are you my real mother?" That's exactly what happened to Nia. And before this day ends, a billionaire, a missing hospital file, and a secret buried for years will change her life forever. Seoul, South Korea. Nia smiled as Amara skipped beside her. "Mommy! What is it? If I win today, you'll ask for ice cream." Amara giggled. "And pizza." Nia laughed. "I knew there was a second request." The little girl squeezed her mother's hand tighter. "I love Family Day." "So do I." Neither of them noticed. Someone else was watching. Seoul slowly walked toward them. One step. Then another. Parents naturally moved aside. Teachers paused mid-conversation. Even Amara stopped talking. The little girl stood directly in front of Nia. She looked up. Her lips trembled. Then, very quietly, she asked, "Excuse me?" Nia smiled gently. "Yes, sweetheart?" The little girl's eyes shimmered. "Are you my real mommy?" The entire playground went silent. Nia blinked. "I'm sorry?" The little girl didn't move. She simply stared. "My dreams said I'd find you." Nia's smile disappeared. "I'm afraid you've mistaken me for someone else." The child slowly shook her head. "No. You smell the same." A chill ran through Nia's body. "What?" "Like lavender." Nia instinctively touched her wrist. Lavender. The perfume she'd worn for years. How could this little girl know that? Who told this child about her? "Coa." The little girl turned. "Daddy." Instead of running, she pointed at Nia. "Daddy. I found Mommy." Ji-hoon's heart stopped. For one terrifying second. Ji-hoon couldn't breathe. Not because of what his daughter had said, but because the woman standing before him looked exactly like someone who had died 7 years ago. Impossible. His mind screamed. Impossible. Yet those same warm brown eyes, the same gentle smile, even the tiny crescent-shaped birthmark beneath her left ear. Exactly the same. "Coa." His voice became firm. "Come here." The little girl frowned. "But Daddy." "Now." She reluctantly obeyed. Before leaving, she looked back at Nia. "I'll find you again." Why would a child promise that to a complete stranger? "Mommy?" Why was she crying? "I don't know." She looked lonely. Nia nodded quietly. "I think she is." Across the field, Ji-hoon couldn't stop watching Nia. Director Kong leaned closer. "Sir, should I investigate?" Ji-hoon's jaw tightened. "No." "But." "I said no." His voice was calm. Too calm. Because if Director Kong investigated, he might uncover something Ji-hoon had spent 7 years trying to bury. What happened 7 years ago? The whistle blew. Children ran. Families laughed. But Seoul stopped. She untied herself from her race ribbon. Seoul, the teacher called. She ignored her. Instead, she ran across the field, straight toward Nia. Daddy! Ji-hoon shouted. Too late. The little girl wrapped both arms around Nia, holding her tightly, as if afraid she'd disappear again. I missed you. Nia completely froze. Sweetheart. I don't know who you think I am. Seoul buried her face against Nia's shoulder. I know your heartbeat. The words barely left her lips. But Ji-hoon heard every single one. His face turned pale. Heartbeat? I'm sorry. Ji-hoon bowed respectfully. My daughter has. He paused. Been having unusual dreams. Nia smiled politely. It's all right. But neither of them believed those words. Their eyes met. For only a second. Yet it felt strangely familiar. Almost painfully familiar. She frowned. I don't remember packing this. She picked it up. An old faded Polaroid. A young woman holding a newborn baby. The woman's face had been torn away. Only one thing remained. A tiny crescent-shaped birthmark beneath the left ear. Exactly like hers. Nia stared. What? Amara peeked over. Who's that? Nia couldn't answer. Because she didn't know. Across Seoul, Ji-hoon sat alone in his penthouse, unable to sleep. Director Kong quietly entered. Sir, we found something. Ji-hoon looked up. What? Director Kong placed a sealed envelope on the desk. It concerns Miss Nia Johnson. Ji-hoon's hand slowly opened it. Inside was a hospital document dated 7 years ago. His face lost all color. He whispered. No. This can't be possible. If this revelation shocked you, subscribe to Afro Seoul Mafia romance stories and tell us in the comments, why do you think Seoul recognized Nia? Your theories might predict the next twist. Someone didn't just lose this file. They erased it. 25 years ago. Someone stole 2 lives. Director Kong. Find whoever destroyed this file. Sir, if we start digging, they'll come after us. Afro Seoul Mafia romance stories. Presents. Episode 2. The hospital file they tried to erase. Han Group headquarters. 42nd floor. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook Seoul at dawn. The office is minimalist, luxurious, and cold. Ji-hoon stands alone, staring at the unopened file on his desk. Ji-hoon hadn't slept. Not after seeing the photograph. Not after seeing Nia. And certainly not after reading the words. Maternity record, status, missing. He opened the file again. Inside, only 4 pages remained. The rest had been deliberately removed. Someone didn't want this child to have a history. Director Kong entered quietly. I checked every archive. Ji-hoon didn't look up. And they're gone. Deleted? No. Director Kong swallowed. They were physically removed. Ji-hoon's jaw tightened. Hospital records weren't supposed to disappear. Not in Korea. Not without help. Someone powerful had erased the past. But why? A cozy apartment with warm lighting, children's drawings on the refrigerator, books stacked on a small table. Rain taps softly against the windows. Nia studies the torn photograph while Amara colors beside her. What Nia didn't know was someone was already watching her. Mom? Why are you looking at that picture? Nia hesitated. I don't know. She traced the missing face with her finger. It felt familiar. Almost painfully so. Yet she couldn't explain why. Her phone vibrated. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? Silence. Then a woman's voice. You need to stop asking questions. Nia frowned. I think you've called the wrong. The woman interrupted. If you want your daughter to stay safe, forget the photograph. The line went dead. Nia slowly lowered the phone. Someone knew. How did they know she had the photograph? Bright kindergarten classroom. Children paint colorful pictures. Seoul quietly sketches with remarkable detail while her teacher walks between the desks. The teacher smiled. What are you drawing today? Seoul held up her paper. A family. The teacher nodded. Very nice. Then she stopped. There were 4 people. Seoul. Her father. A little girl with curly hair. And an Afro-British woman. Holding both children's hands. The teacher blinked. But who's this? Seoul smiled. My other mommy. The teacher's smile faded. Seoul had never met Nia before yesterday. So why had she been drawing her? 4 months? An elegant traditional Korean estate. Antique wood architecture, manicured gardens, quiet authority. An older woman in a tailored hanbok-inspired suit sits with perfect posture, reading tea leaves. This is Madame Han. She never raised her voice. She never needed to. A servant bowed. Madam. The child found her. Madame Han slowly placed her teacup down. I expected that. The servant hesitated. Should we intervene? Madame Han looked toward the rain. No. A faint smile appeared. Not yet. She already knew. Night. Seoul General Hospital. Dim corridors. A retired records clerk quietly unlocks an old archive room with Director Kong. Dust fills the air. Thousands of forgotten files line towering shelves. The file wasn't missing. It had been hidden. There. The old clerk pointed. Everything from 7 years ago. Director Kong searched. Nothing. Every birth record. Except one. Shelf 27. Box 14. Empty. The old man frowned. That's impossible. I remember placing it here myself. Director Kong froze. Someone had stolen it. Recently. Behind them. A shadow disappeared around the corner. They weren't alone. Outside the hospital. Rain falls heavily. Nia walks toward the subway station carrying groceries. A little boy accidentally bumps into her. I'm sorry. He bowed quickly. It's okay. He looked up. Then froze. You? Nia smiled. What? My grandma has your picture. Nia's smile disappeared. My what? Before he could answer, an elderly woman rushed over. Yoon. She grabbed the boy's hand. We're leaving. The old woman looked directly into Nia's eyes. For only a second. Pure fear. Then she hurried away. Nia stood frozen. My picture? Han River at night. City lights shimmer across the water. Ji-hoon stands alone, deep in thought. Unexpectedly, Nia arrives on the riverside path after following another lead. Neither expected to meet there. You. Ji-hoon turned. I could say the same. Awkward silence. The city hummed around them. Finally, Nia spoke. Your daughter. She's very sweet. Ji-hoon nodded. She likes you. Too much. A small smile escaped him. It seems so. For the first time, neither of them talked about mystery. Or hospitals. Or missing records. Just life. You're raising your daughter alone? Nia smiled sadly. I've been doing that for 6 years. And her father? He never knew. Ji-hoon looked away. The words hit harder than she realized. Neither of them knew. Their lives had crossed years before. 7 years earlier. The hospital didn't catch fire. Someone set it on fire. Director Kong reviews archived news footage on an old computer. Grainy CCTV shows flames consuming part of Seoul General Hospital 7 years earlier. Emergency vehicles crowd the entrance. He paused the video. Zoomed in. A young nurse ran from the building carrying a newborn. Behind her, another nurse carried a second baby. The timestamp flickered. Then glitched. The footage abruptly ended. Someone had cut it. Director Kong whispered. My God. Late at night. Nia returns home. Her apartment door is slightly open. She knows she locked it. Inside, the lights are off. Nia? No answer. She slowly stepped inside. The photograph was gone. In its place, a small white envelope rested on the table. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a single Polaroid. 2 newborn babies. Lying side by side in a hospital nursery. Written across the bottom in faded blue ink. Only one was meant to survive. Nia's breath caught. The light suddenly went out. A voice whispered from somewhere inside the apartment. You should have stayed forgotten. Subscribe now. Episode 3 is next. Coming in 2 days. 25 years ago, 2 little girls entered the world. Before sunrise, both disappeared. Showing. The night 2 babies disappeared. A calm voice broke the silence. Don't turn around. Nia's heartbeat exploded. She tightened her grip on the photograph. Who are you? The stranger answered softly. I'm the reason you're still alive. Lightning illuminated the room. For only a fraction of a second, Nia saw the outline of an elderly Korean woman. Then, darkness again. Why would a stranger risk breaking into her apartment just to save her? I don't have much time. Nia kept several feet between them. You broke into my home. I had no choice. She looked toward the window. They're already watching. Nia frowned. Who? The woman ignored the question. Instead, she pointed toward the photograph. Where did you get that? It was left here. The old woman's face turned pale. They've started moving earlier than I expected. Who was they? Not everyone died in the fire. One nurse survived. But she's been missing. For 7 years. Sir. I found the nurse. Ji-hoon looked up instantly. Alive? Director Kong nodded. But she's disappeared. When? This morning. Ji-hoon's expression hardened. Someone reached her before we did. He stood. No more waiting. I want every employee who worked that night identified. Director Kong hesitated. Even members of your family's foundation? Ji-hoon answered without blinking. Everyone. For the first time, Ji-hoon was investigating his own family. She closed her eyes. Images flashed. Warm hands. Lavender. Someone humming. A woman saying, "You'll always find your way back to me." Seoi's eyes snapped open. She ran downstairs. "Daddy!" Ji-hoon turned. "What is it?" I remembered her voice. His heart skipped. What did she say? Seoa repeated the lullaby. Ji-hoon's face slowly lost its color. He had heard those exact words once before. Years ago. A lullaby no one should remember. Except the person who sang it. The elderly woman finally spoke. "My name is Sister Eun. I worked in the maternity ward." Nia's breathing slowed. "You knew me?" Sister Eun nodded. "I held you." Silence. Nia whispered. "I don't understand." "You weren't a patient. You volunteered. You comforted frightened mothers." Nia frowned. "I've never worked in a hospital." "You don't remember." Sister Eun looked down. "Because someone made sure you wouldn't." What had been taken from Nia? Besides her memories? "It's begun." She closed her eyes. "I expected it." "The nurse has spoken." Madame Han answered quietly. "No. She only remembers pieces." She opened her eyes. Cold. Measured. "Then let her remember." The caller froze. "Madam?" Madame Han turned toward the family portrait hanging on the wall. Truth isn't always the greatest weapon. Sometimes it destroys everyone equally. Was Madame Han protecting herself? Or someone she loved? Director Kong discovers CCTV. The footage is corrupted. Except one frame. Freeze frame. A woman carrying 2 babies. Not one. Blueprints had shown. A forgotten emergency corridor. Most people never knew it existed. Director Kong stopped. On the wall. A faded security camera. Still pointing toward the old nursery. He whispered. If the recordings survived, everything could change. He opened the rusted equipment cabinet. Inside, one damaged hard drive. The truth might still exist. Nia discovers something in the torn photograph. She turns it over. Written on the back. Only 3 words. Keep them apart. She doesn't know who wrote it. Neither does the audience. Neither planned the meeting. Both smiled awkwardly. Seoa immediately ran toward Amara. Within seconds, the girls were laughing together. Watching them, Ji-hoon spoke quietly. They seemed to find each other naturally. Nia nodded. Children usually do. A comfortable silence settled. Then Ji-hoon asked, "Do you ever feel like you've forgotten something important?" Nia looked surprised. Every day lately. Their eyes met. For the first time, neither looked away. Sometimes, the heart remembers long before the mind does. Static. Distorted images. Nurses running. Smoke. Alarms. Then, the nursery. 2 newborn babies. A young woman entered the room. Her face blurred by smoke. She lifted one baby. Turned. And looked directly toward the security camera. Director Kong froze. He slowly enhanced the image. The pixels sharpened. His breathing stopped. The woman was Nia. But, he whispered. She said she'd never been there. Late evening. Han Group headquarters. The city of Seoul glows beneath a violent thunderstorm. Ji-hoon sits alone in his dark office. The only light comes from an old monitor. Director Kong has finally restored the damaged CCTV footage from the hospital fire. The timestamp flickers. 2:17 a.m. The nursery appears. Two newborn girls sleep peacefully. A nurse walks away. The hallway falls silent. Then, a shadow enters. A man in a doctor's coat. His surgical mask hides most of his face. He looks around. No one is watching. He gently lifts one baby. Seconds later, he returns. He takes the second baby. Ji-hoon's breathing slows. Director Kong whispers, "Sir, watch closely." The mysterious doctor walks toward the exit. Just before disappearing, he reaches for his identification badge. It catches on the door handle. The lanyard snaps. The badge falls onto the floor. The footage freezes. Director Kong enhances the image. Pixel by pixel. The damaged badge becomes clearer. Most of the name has been burned away. Only one word remains. Han. Silence. Ji-hoon's eyes widen. His hands begin trembling. He whispers, "No." Another enhancement finishes rendering. A faded family crest slowly appears beside the name. It is unmistakable. The Han Group crest. Ji-hoon leans back in horror. Someone. Inside my own family. Outside. Lightning tears across the Seoul skyline. Thunder shakes the windows. The monitor suddenly glitches. The footage deletes itself. File corrupted. Ji-hoon stares at the black screen. Subscribe now. Episode 4 in 2 days.
Where are the babies?
Han Group headquarters. Thunder pounds against the skyscraper. Ji-hoon sits frozen. The CCTV replay loops. Director Kong quietly says, "He's wearing a surgical mask." Ji-hoon never looks away. Not forever. The doctor reaches for the exit. His badge falls. Freeze frame. Enhancement. Pixel. 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 The badge slowly sharpens. Only one word survives. Han. Ji-hoon whispers, "No." What Ji-hoon didn't realize was someone else had already seen this footage. A black SUV. Rain. A laptop. Someone watches the exact CCTV clip. Before closing it. One sentence. Erase everything. No face. Only black leather gloves. Nia's apartment. Warm candlelight. Amara sleeps peacefully. Nia discovers an old cassette tape inside a dusty keepsake box. Written on the label. "For my little girl." She hesitates. Presses play. A woman's voice fills the room. Soft. Gentle. Singing a lullaby. Nia begins crying. She doesn't remember the song. The next morning, Seoul hums the exact same melody while drawing. Nia freezes. Nobody taught her. Some memories survive. Even when lives are stolen. Madam Han. Han Estate. Meditation room. Incense. A discreet phone call. She says calmly, "Has Ji-hoon stopped looking?" A nervous voice answers, "No." Silence. She closes her eyes. Then make sure he does. Rain. Hospital archives. Nia slips on wet marble steps. Ji-hoon catches her. Silence. They're inches apart. She pulls away. He quietly says, "You don't have to carry this alone." She replies, "I've carried it alone my whole life." He has no answer. Director Kang identifies the doctor. Not by his face. By the way he walks. Old hospital staff footage. A slight limp. One shoulder lower. Only one doctor matches. Dr. Han Min-suk. Everyone freezes. Ji-hoon whispers, "He's family." Finding the doctor would be the easy part. They arrive hospital records office. It was empty. Computers gone. Boxes burned. Someone has beaten them there. Director Kang kneels. Still warm ashes. Someone is destroying evidence. Right now. They discover immigration records. Dr. Han Min-suk. Leaving Korea. Tomorrow. 8:15 a.m. Only one flight. Ji-hoon has less than 12 hours. Now every minute matters. Director Kang returns home. Front door open. Apartment untouched. Wallet untouched. Laptop untouched. TV untouched. One thing missing. The restored hard drive. A note. Stop digging. For the first time, Director Kang looks genuinely frightened. If they knew where Kang lived, who else were they watching? Nia. She studies the old Polaroid. A hidden compartment falls open. Inside, a tiny silver baby anklet. Engraved. J.H. Not Johnson. Not Ji-hoon. Something else. A clue. Airport. Rain. Ji-hoon races through departures. The doctor never boards. His ticket isn't used. Security checks CCTV. Nothing. He disappeared. Director Kang receives a call. The doctor's nursing home. He died. Yesterday. Ji-hoon whispers. Then who took the babies? Everyone thinks the trail is over. Director Kang opens a small locker left behind. Inside. One cassette tape. One sealed envelope. The tape begins playing. An elderly man's voice. Weak. Terrified. If you're hearing this, I'm already dead. Long pause. I didn't steal those babies. Ji-hoon freezes. The voice continues. I only followed orders. Silence. The order came. Static. Tape crackles. From inside the Han family. Thunder. The tape melts. Someone remotely destroys it. Smoke rises. Ji-hoon whispers. Who? The tape plays one last sentence. Don't trust. Static. Destroyed. A quiet nursing home on the outskirts of Seoul. Director Kang enters a modest room where an elderly former firefighter sits by the window, surrounded by old medals and photographs. I heard you were looking into the hospital fire. Director Kang nodded. You were there. The old firefighter smiled sadly. I've waited 7 years for someone to ask. He opened an old notebook. Every rescue. Every patient. Every child. Perfectly documented. He turned one page. Stopped. His hands trembled. I remember. There were never 2 babies rescued. Director Kang frowned. What do you mean? The firefighter looked him directly in the eyes. There were 3. Late at night. Ji-hoon studies the firefighter's notebook in his office. A folded page slips loose and falls to the floor. He unfolds it. Inside, a faded photograph. 3 newborn bassinets, each marked with a colored ribbon. Blue, pink, gold. On the back of the photograph, handwritten in fading ink. Protect the golden child at all costs. Ji-hoon's breathing stopped. 3 babies. Not 2. Across the city, Nia looked out her apartment window, unaware that someone was photographing her from a rooftop through a telephoto lens. The unseen figure quietly lowered the camera, then spoke into an earpiece. Target has recovered the bracelet. A pause. Begin phase 2. The camera slowly pulls away from the rooftop, revealing the glowing Seoul skyline beneath a storm-filled sky. Who do you think the golden child really is, Seoul, Amara, or someone else entirely? Share your theory and subscribe, if you have not done so, before episode 5 drops. A rain-soaked rooftop overlooking Seoul. A mysterious figure lowers a telephoto camera after photographing Nia's apartment. Neon lights shimmer across wet rooftops. The figure speaks into a hidden earpiece while a black SUV waits below. Target has recovered bracelet B2. A distorted voice replied through the earpiece. Proceed. The figure hesitated. What about the child? A long silence followed. Then, no witnesses. The line went dead. The photographer looked back toward Nia's apartment. For the first time, there was hesitation in their eyes. Who was giving the orders? Relax and watch. Episode 5, the third baby nobody was supposed to find. Nia sits at her kitchen table examining bracelet B2 beneath a magnifying lamp. Amara plays nearby, building a tower from colorful blocks. As Nia turned the bracelet, something clicked. A hidden compartment opened. Inside, a folded piece of rice paper, barely larger than a postage stamp. She unfolded it. Only 4 words appeared. Finds Sister Grace. Nia stared. Sister Grace. The name meant nothing. Yet hearing it made her chest tighten. Amara looked up. Mom? Are you okay? Nia forced a smile. I think I'm getting closer. Who was Sister Grace? Han Estate. Midnight. Seoul bolts upright in bed, breathing heavily. Moonlight pours through her bedroom window. Daddy! Ji-hoon rushed inside. She wrapped her arms around him. I saw the fire again. His heart sank. What fire? The hospital. She buried her face against his shoulder. There was another baby. Ji-hoon's breathing stopped. What did you say? Seoul looked up. There were 3. Then she whispered something that chilled him. The baby with the gold ribbon was crying alone. She had described details no one had ever told her. A small church-run orphanage hidden in the hills outside Seoul. Ivy climbs old stone walls. Bells ring softly as Nia arrives holding the note that read Find Sister Grace. The receptionist smiled sadly. I'm sorry. Sister Grace passed away. Nia lowered her eyes. I was too late. The elderly nun paused. But she left something. She disappeared into the back office, returning with a sealed wooden box. It's addressed to you. Nia frowned. My name? The nun nodded. It has been waiting 7 years. How could someone prepare a box? For a woman who couldn't remember? A peaceful cafe overlooking the Han River. Warm afternoon light. Ji-hoon and Nia sit across from each other while Seoul and Amara feed ducks nearby. For once, nobody mentioned hospitals or missing files. They talked about childhood, favorite books, music, Dreams. Ji-hoon laughed quietly. I used to think success meant owning the tallest building. And now? He watched Seoul laughing. It means hearing that sound. Nia smiled. You're changing. So are you. Their eyes met. Neither looked away. For one beautiful moment. The mystery disappeared. Leaving only possibility. Sometimes love returns. Before memory does. Back at Nia's apartment. The wooden box rests on the dining table. Rain begins outside as she slowly unlocks it with the brass key. Inside. A nurse's badge. A tiny gold ribbon. A cassette tape. And a handwritten letter. Nia unfolded it carefully. The first line stole her breath. If you're reading this, they failed to erase you. Tears filled her eyes. She continued reading. Trust the man whose daughter found you. She whispered. Ji-hoon. Then. A loud knock echoed through the apartment. 3 slow knocks. Silence. 3 more. She opened the door. No one. Only another envelope. Inside. A photograph. Ji-hoon. 7 years younger. Standing beside her. Both smiling. They had known each other. Director Kong receives an encrypted email in his office late at night. He opens a scanned financial ledger. Every payment connected to the hospital had been funded through shell companies. One signature appeared repeatedly. Not Madame Han. Not Ji-hoon. A different name. Chairman Kwon. Director Kong froze. He wasn't supposed to be involved. He quickly called Ji-hoon. No answer. He looked toward the window. Someone was already inside the office. The lights went out. The conspiracy was bigger than the Han family. Nia sits alone, finishing the letter by candlelight after the apartment suddenly loses power again. The final paragraph read. There were never 2 babies. There were 3. One carried the Han bloodline. One carried the evidence. The third. Nia turned the page. It had been ripped away. Her heart raced. Outside. A black SUV stopped across the street. 2 men stepped out. They weren't carrying weapons. They were carrying gasoline cans. Nia looked through the window. Her eyes widened. Amara was still asleep. The men began pouring gasoline around the apartment entrance. One looked up. Their eyes met. He smiled. The camera pulls back from Nia's apartment building. Rain falls harder. The men finish surrounding the entrance with gasoline. One reaches into his pocket and flicks open a silver lighter. Across the city. Ji-hoon's phone finally rings. Director Kang's panicked voice shouts through the speaker. Sir! They're going after Nia. Ji-hoon grabs his keys and sprints toward the elevator. The lighter sparks. The flame ignites. A wall of fire races toward the apartment entrance. Nia clutches Amara in her arms, trapped inside. The screen cuts to black just as flames engulf the front doorway. Asterisk, who do you think is the mysterious third baby? And can Ji-hoon reach Nia and Amara before it's too late? Share your theories and subscribe before a modest apartment building in Seoul at night. Rain pours relentlessly as flames race across gasoline-soaked concrete toward the front entrance. Orange fire reflects against rain-soaked streets while terrified neighbors scream from their balconies. The fire spread faster than anyone expected. Within seconds, the front entrance disappeared behind a wall of flames. Inside the apartment, Nia held Amara tightly against her chest. Mom! Amara's small voice trembled. Are we going to die? Nia forced herself to smile. No. Even though She wasn't sure. Someone wasn't trying to scare them anymore. Someone wanted them erased. Smoke begins creeping beneath the apartment door. Nia quickly wets kitchen towels and covers Amara's mouth while searching desperately for another exit. The front door. Impossible. The hallway. Filled with smoke. Only one option remained. The fire escape. She rushed toward the balcony. Pulled the handle. Nothing. Rust. Years without use. It wouldn't open. Amara coughed. Mom! Nia threw her shoulder against the door. Again. Again. Finally. Metal screamed. The balcony door burst open. Cold rain rushed inside. Freedom was only 3 floors below. A black luxury sedan speeds through rain-soaked Seoul streets. Traffic parts as horns blare. Ji-hoon grips the steering wheel, his face filled with fear rather than anger. Director Kong stayed on the phone. Fire crews are 5 minutes away. Too long. We've contacted police. Still too long. Ji-hoon pressed harder on the accelerator. His mind replayed one image. Seoul. Running into Nia's arms. He whispered. Please. Don't let me be too late again. This time. He refused to arrive after everything was over. The apartment balcony overlooks a narrow alley. Rain pounds down as Nia lifts Amara onto the emergency ladder attached to the building. The old metal creaks dangerously. Listen to me. Nia knelt beside her daughter. You keep climbing. No matter what happens. Amara shook her head. I'm not leaving you. You are. No. Nia gently cupped her face. I'll be right behind you. Reluctantly, Amara began climbing. Halfway down, one of the ladder bolts snapped. The entire structure lurched. Would the ladder hold? Across the street, the mysterious rooftop photographer watches through binoculars. For the first time, they lower the camera and remove their earpiece. Below, the flames climbed higher. The photographer looked toward the burning apartment. Then quietly whispered. This isn't what I agreed to. A reply crackled through the earpiece. Finish the mission. The photographer looked at the frightened child. Then, made a decision. They switched channels. Dialed emergency services. There are civilians trapped. Without another word, they disappeared into the rain. Someone inside the conspiracy had just changed sides. Fire engulfs the apartment behind Nia. Smoke pours from shattered windows. Firefighters arrive as Ji-hoon's car screeches to a halt. Nia. She looked down. Ji-hoon. He had made it. Firefighters secured the lower half of the ladder. Come down. Nia stepped onto it. Another loud crack echoed. The upper section gave way. She lost her balance. For one terrifying second, she fell. Ji-hoon lunged forward, catching her before she struck the pavement. Both collapsed into the rain. Breathing. Alive. Neither spoke. They simply looked at one another. Relieved. Some rescues begin a love story. Others awaken one. Inside a fire engine. Paramedics wrap blankets around Nia and Amara. Ji-hoon notices a partially burned envelope tucked inside Nia's coat. The letter. Nia quickly unfolded it. Only one section had survived the fire. The remaining words read, "Trust the lighthouse." Below that, a date. 7 years earlier. And coordinates. Director Kong looked up. There's an old lighthouse outside Incheon. Ji-hoon nodded. We're going. Someone had hidden the truth. Far away from Seoul, Madame Han stands alone in her private garden before sunrise. She watches koi fish glide silently beneath the water. Her longtime secretary approached. The apartment failed. Madame Han closed her eyes. I expected as much. The board wants to silence everyone involved. She opened her eyes slowly. No. They've already spilled too much blood. The secretary looked stunned. What should we do? Madame Han answered quietly. Bring Ji-hoon to me. It's time. He knew everything. Everything Ji-hoon believed about his family was about to change. A lonely lighthouse overlooking rough seas before dawn. Powerful waves crash against dark cliffs as Ji-hoon, Nia, Director Kong, and two detectives approach the weathered stone structure. Inside, dust covered everything. Except one recently disturbed floorboard. Director Kong carefully lifted it. Hidden beneath a rusted metal lockbox. Ji-hoon's hands trembled as he opened it. Inside lay 3 hospital wristbands, a gold ribbon, a faded diary, a VHS tape labeled, "If they find this, tell the children I'm sorry." Nia slowly picked up the diary. The cover bore one handwritten name, Grace. She opened the first page. The ink had faded, but the first sentence remained perfectly clear. Tonight, I helped save 3 babies. Everyone froze. Not 1. Not 2. 3. Nia turned the page. A folded birth certificate slipped onto the floor. Ji-hoon picked it up. His breathing stopped. The mother's name had been blacked out. The father's name had not. It read, Han Min-suk. Director Kong stared in disbelief. Sir, that's not your father. Ji-hoon slowly looked up. No, that's my uncle. The sound of a gun being cocked echoed through the lighthouse. A calm male voice emerged from the shadows. Some secrets should have stayed buried. The group turned. A man stepped into the light, his face partially hidden beneath a hood. He held an old revolver steady. His eyes rested on Ji-hoon. I'd been waiting 7 years for you to find me. Lightning illuminates the interior of the lighthouse. The mysterious man stands framed against a shattered window as waves crash outside. The diary lies open on the floor beside the birth certificate. Nia instinctively shields Amara while Ji-hoon steps forward. The hooded man smiles faintly. Then he says one sentence that leaves everyone speechless. Before you ask who stole the children. He raises the revolver slightly. Ask who ordered them to be hidden. A deafening clap of thunder shakes the lighthouse. Asterisk, who do you think the hooded man really is? And what role did Han Min-suk play 7 years ago? Share your theories and subscribe if you have not done so before episode 7 is released. Inside the abandoned lighthouse. Rain lashes against shattered windows. Lightning flashes across the room as the hooded man stands with an old revolver. Ji-hoon shields Nia and the children while Director Kong quietly moves toward cover. The hooded man smiled. Not with triumph. With sadness. You came sooner than I expected. Ji-hoon's voice remained steady. Who are you? The man lowered the revolver slightly. Someone who failed. Silence. 7 years ago. I chose which children would live. What kind of person carries that burden for 7 years? Lightning briefly illuminates the hooded man's face. He is in his late 50s, tired and weathered, with deep scars on one side of his face. His eyes are filled with regret rather than hatred. My name is. He removed the hood. Dr. Park Jae-sung. Director Kang's eyes widened. The pediatric surgeon. Who disappeared after the fire. Dr. Park nodded. I didn't disappear. I was hidden. Ji-hoon frowned. By whom? Dr. Park looked toward the old diary lying on the floor. The people who created the fire. Someone had protected the only surviving witness. Or imprisoned him. Nia carefully opens Sister Grace's diary while everyone watches. The pages are yellowed with age, filled with handwritten notes, sketches, and dates. The first entry read, "The board approved Project Aurora today." Nia whispered, "Project Aurora?" Dr. Park closed his eyes. It wasn't a medical project. It was an inheritance project. No one spoke. He continued. 3 newborns. 1 fortune. Too many people willing to decide the future before those children could even open their eyes. Ji-hoon's hands clenched. The conspiracy had never been about medicine. It had always been about power. Seoul quietly walks across the lighthouse toward Dr. Park while the adults remain frozen. She studies his face with innocent curiosity. "You've cried before." Everyone turned toward her. Dr. Park looked surprised. "What makes you say that?" She pointed gently. "The lines around your eyes. My teacher says, only people who cry for other people have those." The old doctor's composure broke. For the first time, tears rolled down his face. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I'm so very sorry." Who was he apologizing to? Outside the lighthouse, a convoy of black vehicles arrives through the storm. Madame Han steps out with only one bodyguard, carrying a single umbrella. Ji-hoon stared. "Grandmother?" She slowly entered the lighthouse. Her eyes immediately found Dr. Park. "So, you're finally tired of hiding?" Dr. Park nodded. "I'm tired of burying children who survived." Madame Han looked toward Nia. Then Seoul. Then Amara. A deep sadness crossed her face. "I prayed you would never meet like this." Madame Han had expected this day for years. Director Kong inserts the recovered VHS tape into an old player inside the lighthouse. Static fills the screen before a shaky recording appears. A hospital nursery. The date. 7 years earlier. Sister Grace appeared on screen. She looked directly into the camera. "If anyone finds this, my name is Grace Kim. The hospital is under lockdown. They're moving the babies." Her breathing was uneven. "They say it's to protect the Han succession. But they're lying." She lifted the camera. 3 bassinets. Blue ribbon. Pink ribbon. Gold ribbon. They're separating them. "If I don't survive, please find them." The recording suddenly ended in static. No one moved. Grace hadn't been documenting history. She'd been leaving a message for the future. The storm begins to clear outside. Nia stands on the lighthouse balcony overlooking the sea. Ji-hoon quietly joins her. The waves crash gently below. "You should be resting." Nia smiled faintly. "I don't think sleep is possible anymore." Neither spoke for several moments. Finally, Ji-hoon said, "I'm sorry." She looked at him. "For what?" "For every answer you've had to chase alone." She lowered her eyes. "You came." "I did. And you keep coming." Ji-hoon smiled softly. "As long as you keep needing me." Their eyes met. Closer than ever before. For one brief moment, it felt as though the world had disappeared. Sometimes trust begins long before love. Director Kong flips through Grace's diary one final time. Suddenly he notices torn edges halfway through the journal. "Wait. There are pages missing." Dr. Park nodded. "I removed them." Everyone looked at him. Why? Because they contained the children's real identities. Ji-hoon stepped forward. Where are they now? Dr. Park looked toward the sea. Somewhere no one has searched. He reached into his coat, producing an old brass compass. He placed it into Nia's hand. It doesn't point north. It points to the truth. A compass with only one destination. A luxurious private office high above Seoul. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook the city. A man in his 60s watches the lighthouse through live drone footage displayed on multiple monitors. He smiled. So, they found Dr. Park. An assistant asked nervously. Should we intervene? The man slowly stood. On his desk rested an old newspaper clipping. Han family airborne. He burned it with a match. No. Let them keep digging. The assistant frowned. Why? The man looked out over the city. Because they're still looking. In the wrong direction. The camera slowly turned, revealing the brass nameplate on his desk. Chairman Kwon Jahyuk. The same name director Kong had uncovered weeks earlier. He pressed a button on his phone. Bring me the third child. The assistant froze. We've finally found them? Chairman Kwon smiled. No. I've known where they were. For 7 years. Back at the lighthouse. Nia studies the strange brass compass. Instead of pointing north, its needle slowly rotates, then locks onto a single direction, southwest. Dr. Park whispers. I altered it myself. It will lead you to the place where the last truth was buried. Before anyone can speak. A loud explosion echoes from outside. The lighthouse shakes violently. Dust rains from the ceiling. Director Kong runs to the broken window. His face turns pale. The bridge. The only bridge connecting the lighthouse to the mainland erupts into flames, collapsing into the sea. They are trapped. Far across the water. A helicopter circles overhead. Its spotlight sweeps across the lighthouse. Then disappears into the storm. Who do you think is the mysterious third child? And why has Chairman Kwon been waiting 7 years? Subscribe and share your theories before episode 8. Asterisk. The lighthouse trembles violently as the bridge collapses into the raging sea. Concrete crashes into the water below while a helicopter circles overhead, its spotlight slicing through the storm. Director Kong grabbed the window frame. The bridge is gone. The last section of concrete disappeared beneath the waves. No roads. No escape. Only the sea. Ji-hoon looked toward the helicopter. It's not a rescue helicopter. Dr. Park's face turned pale. No. It belongs to Kwon. The aircraft slowly circled once. Then flew away. Almost as if it wanted them to know. They had been found. Why would Chairman Kwon trap them? Instead of eliminating them? Inside the lighthouse. Rainwater drips from the ceiling. Nia studies the antique brass compass beneath the beam of a flashlight while everyone gathers around. The needle refused to point north. Instead, it settled firmly toward the southwest. Dr. Park spoke quietly. I built it myself. Ji-hoon looked confused. A compass? No. A guide. It reacts to a magnetic plate hidden beneath one place. Director Kong frowned. Where? Dr. Park answered with one word. Eden. Silence. Nia whispered. What's Eden? The old doctor looked toward the sea. The place where innocent children were hidden from powerful people. The third child had never been abandoned. They had been protected. Amara explores a forgotten corner of the lighthouse while the adults argue. Sunlight begins breaking through the storm clouds outside. Mom! Everyone turned. Amara held up a tiny carved wooden dolphin. I found this. Dr. Park froze. He slowly took the toy. His hands began shaking. I carved this. For the third baby. The room fell silent. Amara frowned. Then why was it here? Dr. Park looked at the toy with watery eyes. Because someone came back. Who had returned to the lighthouse. Before them? Madame Han stands by a shattered lighthouse window overlooking the sea. The morning sun finally pierces the storm clouds, illuminating her face. I've hidden one truth. For 7 years. Ji-hoon slowly faced her. What truth? She closed her eyes. I knew the hospital wasn't safe. You knew? I sent Grace to protect the babies. Nia stared. You knew Sister Grace? Madame Han nodded. She was like a daughter to me. Ji-hoon's voice cracked. Why didn't you tell me? She answered softly. Because every person who learned the truth disappeared. Madame Han hadn't been hiding the conspiracy. She had been surviving it. A luxurious underground command center beneath Chairman Kwan's corporate headquarters. Massive digital displays track vehicles, financial transactions, and surveillance feeds across Seoul. Chairman Kwan calmly watched the lighthouse feed. They're following the compass. His chief of security smiled. Exactly as planned. One of the analysts looked confused. Sir, if they reach Eden, they'll discover everything. Chairman Kwan shook his head. No. They'll discover what I want them to discover. The analyst swallowed. You planted false evidence? Chairman Kwan smiled. I planted a false history. Had every clue been leading them into a trap? Coast Guard rescue boats approach the lighthouse through rough seas. Waves crash against the rocks as rescue personnel secure ropes to the structure. Hours later, the storm had weakened. A rescue team finally arrived. As everyone prepared to leave, Dr. Park remained still. Ji-hoon noticed. Aren't you coming? The old doctor smiled sadly. I've spent 7 years hiding. It's time I stopped running. He handed Ji-hoon another key. Small. Silver. This opens Grace's final safe. Nia looked surprised. There's another one? He nodded. I prayed you'd never need it. Grace had prepared for every possibility. A historic Seoul bank with marble floors and polished brass vault doors. Ji-hoon, Nia, and director Kang enter a private viewing room as an elderly manager retrieves a decades-old safe deposit box. The manager checked the records. This box hasn't been opened for exactly 7 years. He inserted one key. Ji-hoon inserted the other. The lock clicked. Inside rested a tiny pair of knitted baby shoes. A sealed envelope. A cassette labeled "Play only when all 3 children are safe." A leather-bound adoption ledger. Director Kang carefully opened the ledger. His expression changed instantly. Sir, this isn't an adoption record. What is it? It's a list of foster identities. The children hadn't been adopted. They had been hidden under new name. Evening. Han River. The city glows with thousands of lights reflected across the water. Ji-hoon and Nia walk in silence while the children play nearby. I almost lost you. Nia smiled softly. You caught me. I almost didn't. She looked toward the river. You still came. He laughed quietly. I don't think I could stay away now. A gentle breeze carried the scent of lavender. Neither moved. Neither spoke. Ji-hoon slowly reached for her hand. she didn't pull away. Instead, she intertwined her fingers with his. For the first time, it wasn't because of the mystery. It was because they wanted to. Across the park, Seoul smiled. They're holding hands. Amara grinned. I knew they liked each other. The girls burst into laughter. Ji-hoon and Nia looked over, then laughed too. For a brief moment, the weight of 7 years disappeared. Sometimes hope arrives quietly, just before everything changes. Director Kong studies the leather ledger late into the night. A single desk lamp illuminates faded handwritten names. Most pages listed coded identities. Then, one final page. 3 entries. The first 2 had been decoded. The third remained sealed beneath a wax stamp. Director Kong carefully broke it. Everyone leaned closer. Instead of a name, only a location appeared. Eden Hills Children's Home. Closed 6 years earlier. Below it, one sentence. The golden child was never adopted. Ji-hoon's heart pounded. Then where are they? Director Kong turned the final page. A photograph slipped free. It showed 20 children standing outside Eden Hills. One child's face had been scratched out, but everyone else remained visible. Nia stared at the picture. Slowly, she lifted her hand, pointing toward another child standing in the back row. A little girl. Curly hair. A tiny crescent-shaped birthmark beneath her left ear. Nia whispered, I know her. The room fell silent. But I've never met her. Dr. Park took the photograph. His eyes widened. No. That's impossible. Ji-hoon looked at him. What? Dr. Park's voice trembled. That child grew up to become you. He looked directly at Nia. You were living under a different identity long before you remembered. Every person in the room froze. The mystery had never been about finding one missing child. It had been about uncovering a life that had been deliberately rewritten. Deep beneath Chairman Kwan's headquarters, a hidden steel door slides open. Inside is a climate-controlled archive filled with thousands of files. Chairman Kwan walks to a shelf marked Project Aurora. He removes the final red folder. Across the front, in bold black letters, Subject 3 active. He opens it. The first page contains a recent surveillance photograph. Not of Ji-hoon. Not of Seoul. Not of Amara. It is a close-up photograph of Nia, taken only hours earlier. Chairman Kwan smiles. So, you finally remembered enough. He closes the folder. But not the one thing that matters. The vault door slowly seals shut.
Nia and Ji-hoon's story has only just begun. But the deeper they go, the more dangerous the truth becomes. Continue their journey in part 2 of Afro Seoul Mafia romance stories. Subscribe now, because the next secret is closer than they think. The deeper you look, the darker it gets.